Stop worrying about what people think. You know, I was just reading a very interesting new statistic that talked about how a lot of people don't follow through with their dreams, their aspirations, their desires, their visions, because they get so caught up worrying about what someone think about them, what they look like in the picture. Man, I might look big. I might look this. Worried about what people think, fam, is keeping you from being free. And it also tells some psychological things about you as well. You know, most people don't want to put the work in, but they want the results. You know, eating healthier, switching up your diet, the way you dress, certain clothes, it can make you look better. You know what I mean? But statistically, though, it's saying right now that a lot of people are crippled. A lot of people are crippled by what other people think. The most ironic thing ever. They're crippled by what somebody else feels. That's keeping them from starting their business, creating their blogging channel, starting their YouTube, starting their TikTok, Facebook, whatever it is. They're worrying about what someone else thinks about them. Someone who doesn't have the power to place you in any heaven or hell, if that's what you believe in. They don't have the power to do anything. But I'm going to tell you what they do have the power to do. If you believe them, they can discourage you. If you listen to them, they can kill your emotion. That's all it does. If you listen to people and listen to their insecurities about you or how they will critique what you're doing, and most of the time I have noticed a person will try to critique what you're doing and that they're not even doing nothing close to what you're doing. That's how you know they're a hater. They'll say something like, if I had it, I'd be doing this, or I would have did this. I'd have got that color. I would have did this with it. If it was my house, but you ain't got one. You know what I mean? You don't have the car, whatever it is that the individual is just sharing with you, fam. But that's how certain people are, fam. So you can't worry about how they feel about your moves. You just have to move, fam. And I'm going to tell you what that I have learned, one of the hardest things, and fam, this is hard, is having, after you have done all the stand, you put forth the work, you do what you got to do, the results are going to come. And when you have your downtime, or what you think is your downtime, it's just a new, it's just a new ceiling for you. You're about to step into something different. You're thinking it's a struggle. You're like, man, well, I got to go through this, and then you break through to another level. That's how it works, man. Literally how it works. But you have to put the work in and stop worrying about what other people think about you. Stop trying to, oh man, guess what it says? This is one thing that a lot of people do. Stop trying to wait till it's perfect. Get started. Get some capital. You can't start making capital or build a business based on your passion. You got to get some money first, and then you can invest in your passion. If your business idea doesn't produce money, like, are you trying to be a philanthropist or are you trying to make money? You know what I'm saying? Let's be real with you. So a lot of people get caught up and get emotional with business, but you know, we're not learning financial literacy neither. So if you're not learning financial literacy, you might think, you know, you might look at a situation the wrong way. That's why it's very important to learn financial literacy, fam. Because you'll understand you can't just bring a person into business just because they related to you just because you love them, that don't mean nothing. You can't add a person to your business because you love them, fam. They got to know the business. You hire people that know business. You don't have to have the degree. You hire someone with the degree. And a lot of times we get stagnated doing our businesses and doing things coming from rural areas, especially the black and brown culture, because no one teaches us finances. You know, we don't learn finances. We don't know nothing about financial literacy. So everything we measure work is about an hour. You know, we think, oh, you can make $200 an hour, or you'll try to cheat someone and not realize that you got to be consistent. Like, you got to do the good business. If you beat me today for 100, you might not be able to get nothing else out of me, or no one else later. But if you treat a person fairly for the 25, you get that 25 for a lifetime, versus you hitting them on top of their head for that one time and getting that 100. Business is about consistency, but we have to have capital, fam. And then from the capital to being innovative, then you're creating a system to invest again to keep the ball rolling. If those three things you can think about, you know, capital, innovation, investments. Coming up with some ideas, fam. But we have to start from somewhere, fam. And we have to start. When I read that, it makes sense, because a lot of people listen to people and it keeps them from getting over the hump. It keeps them from living their best life. It keeps them from accomplishing their goals. They get crippled by them. You know what I mean? So, you know, if I could say anything to you, stop listening to people. Do what you have to do regardless. Be consistent, and a lot of people are not going to be consistent. That's how you win. That's how you win, fam. A lot of people want to be the rabbit, want to be the sprinter. You get it? Not understanding that the turtle, the tortoise, is consistent with its movement. It's consistent, fam. Most people ain't consistent. When they're not seeing that money, or they're not seeing that certain result, they fall over to the wayside. They're not consistent with the movement. You see what I'm saying? When you're a true entrepreneur, this is how it really works. You making steps. You keep making steps. You're getting closer and closer. Check. You keep doing it. Keep doing it. You keep doing it. Check. That's how it works. But when you're a worker, you check. Monday, Friday, every 2 weeks, whatever. You see what I'm saying? But entrepreneur, the steps, the rhythm ain't the same, fam. It's different. So when you transition it over to being a true entrepreneur from a hustler, because hustlers try to control everything. You know, to give this, to give, you try to control it. And let's be real. In order for you to get over to that next hump, you got to learn something different, and it takes money to make money. You a hustler, you know it. You know if you want to look a certain way, you got to go spend that money for that brand or whatever you do. If you like to look like money, even if you ain't got none. You see what I'm saying? So you got to get this new information to get yourself over the hump. If not, you're going to be chasing your tail, fam. That's all you're going to do. I'm tired of chasing my tail. That's why I'm giving you the game. As I get the game, fam, I apply it. I just give it to you. Because I know one thing. It takes a person to use it. So, to be a true entrepreneur, fam, you have to learn one thing, how to make your money make you money. And you're going to have times where you're going to be creating systems. If you're a hustler, you're doing it. And if you could already have where you're trying to get it, if you already got that bag, you won't be trying to act like you're doing it. You won't be trying to, work like you're doing. So instead of just acting like it, while you got a little money, invest it in the proper way, not just in what you look like. You know what I mean? Not just in what you look like, fam. You know what I mean? Longevity builds generational wealth. Hold on.